Hey, welcome back to the Game Changer Purpose Podcast. We're so excited that you're here. And we know this, you are a game changer. Sometimes you just need to tell yourself that I am a game changer. And a game changer is simply somebody who leverages their influence, who understands the power of purpose, and who uses their influence to impact the world around them. And so every time we get together, we get to hear stories, hopefully hear encouragement, some principles that help inspire you to live out the game-changing call that I believe God has on your life. So excited for today's guest, and somebody that I can already tell you this, he's a good friend of mine, even though we just met a couple of weeks ago. But there's some people you meet, just hearts, spirits, minds, vision, and purpose in terms of where they are going is consistent with who you feel like you're called to be. And so I'm excited to invite my brother, AJ Aaron Johnson from Tulsa, Oklahoma, onto the podcast. Aaron, man, so good to have you, bro.
Come on. Hey, we're so grateful. Josh, you guys are killing it over there at Abide Omaha, and we're honored to be a guest and develop that long-term friendship for sure.
Come on, man. Well, it was just a couple of weeks ago that we met through the Empowerment Network's African American Leadership Conference. Powerful time. You were present, I know, because of a relationship, but you were also talking about your work that you're doing with Oasis Fresh Market. And I want to talk about that. But first, it's always important for me to understand how somebody got to where they are. And so I'd love just briefly for you to talk about maybe just a little bit of your kind of upbringing, the culture, environment you grew up in, and how it's helped pave the way and help you become the man that you are today.
Yeah, man. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was
Bucks
born
fan?
Bucks, yeah, Bucks, Packers,
Okay.
all of those things, cheeseheads.
Yep.
We traveled a lot to Chicago to go to I shouldn't say a lot, but we traveled to Chicago a lot and to Gurney Mills, where my Christmas gifts were normally underwear, socks, undershirts, and maybe a pair of tennis shoes that we got a chance to pick out on sale. Shout out Hanes and Fruit of the Loom, baby. And so my parents got divorced when I was young. My dad was a pastor, still is a pastor in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And my mom and older sisters, we moved to Tulsa. I think I was 7 or 8 at the time. And we went through some struggles for sure. And, you know, growing up, having seasons where not having a dad there, you know, being at the track meets or the football games. But I always had surrogate fathers, you know, great mentors, and a godfather, Pastor Billy Joe Doherty, who's since passed away, that really just took me in and really helped shape and define it, you know, who I am in the journey of faith. And mother instilled into us at a young age the power of prayer. And so we love people. I was always one that I loved the underdog, even though I was an athlete. I'd love to sit with the students in the cafeteria that didn't have anybody sitting with them. You know, there were seasons where we were on food stamps as well. You know, the paper food stamps. You know, the red, yellow, the blue. Back in the day, now it's a card, so it looks like
That's right.
You don't even look for no
just
more.
Swipe.
Yeah, you just swipe. It's like a debit, credit. You know,
I'm one of everybody else.
Yeah, back then we knew we was different. You know, you got that. You know, those stamps.
Oh, I remember.
And my first job at 14 years old, I was a bag boy at a grocery store. My first job out of college, I went to the University of Tulsa and walked on. First generation college graduate, first generation business owner. My first job out of college from University of Tulsa, I worked in the grocery industry. And so obviously we know, never despise, you know, the seasons of small beginnings. Never in my life did I think that I would own a grocery store per se, but I knew I was called to serve people. And so that's through different public service servant jobs and being, you know, ministry jobs, and ultimately throughout the pandemic birthed this really this passion in me to, man, how can we break the cycle of generational poverty in so
Wow.
many underserved and under-resourced and underprivileged communities? And really, that's how we birthed Oasis Fresh Market in
Wow.
North Tulsa.
Yeah. Talk about that Oasis Fresh Market. Just for those who have never heard about it, what is it? How did that process? You talked about 2020, kind of your heart and things starting to stir. How did that become a reality in terms of from vision to actually where it is today? Just talk about that and also talk about where it's located.
Yeah. For us, and again, shout out to Mr. Willie, Willie Barney of Omaha,
Yep.
the Empowerment Network, such a great group, and that's where we connected. Um, but we all know, big doors swing on small hinges. And
Man.
what I mean by that is North Tulsa was once called and known as Black Wall Street,
Yep.
back in the day before the 1921 race massacre, where there were more Black millionaires per capita. Oklahoma was almost a Black state, you
Wow.
know, and the wealth that was being created right here in Tulsa really was a model and a blueprint for other countries. There's several Black Wall Streets since then that had been birthed.
Yep.
But before the 1921 race massacre took place,
Mm.
it was a thriving economic community. How many other Amazons or Apples or banks and hospitals could have been birthed had that,
Right.
tragic event not occurred?
Mm.
Well, we felt this stirring, really in 2020, working with our councilwoman, Vanessa Harper, and working with Rose Washington of Tulsa Economic Development Corporation and so many others that had a heart for North Tulsa.
Yep.
The life expectancy in North Tulsa is 11 years shorter than any other community in Tulsa.
Wow.
Oklahoma is 48th for food insecurity.
Mm.
And North Tulsa is predominantly a Black community.
Yep.
And so being in an under-resourced, underprivileged community, we knew that food is a big part of that.
That's right.
And so there are $10 generals. There were $10 generals, but yet not one complete fresh and healthy grocery
Wow.
store in 14 years.
Mm.
So we opened up Oasis not too far away from where the race massacre was, Black Wall Street, May 17th, 2021, right before the centennial of the race massacre. And
Wow.
this is the first grocery store in 14 years, but the first Black-owned grocery store in over 60 years.
Wow.
And so we just try to be a hub of hope and healing. We've got wraparound services and different things that we do to equip the community more than just groceries. We're trying to equip people for life.
Come on. Come on. I have yet to actually be there in person, but I'm excited to get there one of these days. And I got to see a visual and some videos, and we'll have to definitely share some of those on our social media feeds just to give people a picture. Because when I first started seeing the videos, I'm like, man, is this Whole Foods or is this Oasis? I mean, it looked like a clean, fresh market. I mean, the name says it all. And I love the name Oasis. Refuge, safe place, shelter. I mean, you're talking about, and you said it, more than just providing food. We are providing an environment for people to thrive and for people to grow. And I just know, North Tulsa is a lot like North Omaha, where we live and where we work. And we don't have any grocery stores that represent what you're talking about. We don't have any options for healthy whole foods. We have to go outside of our community to get access to those types of foods and resources. And I told you this, I can't wait till we get an Oasis here in Omaha.
Come on.
Hey, there might be somebody listening right now that can help us make that happen. Because it is a game changer. Like it truthfully is a game changer. And so, I mean, I just love too hearing about your story coming up and how you always felt called to the underdog. And part of that maybe is just what you experienced growing up. As you're leading this effort, one of the things that I realize is it takes a variety of people from different backgrounds to come together to make something like this happen. You talked a little bit about some of the people you talked with. Talk about some of the collaborations that happened to make this Oasis become a reality. Like you truly have to be a bridge working with people from all different backgrounds. Talk about that.
Well, we were intentional about picking the name Oasis because North Tulsa for so long was called the food desert. Well, in a food desert, there's also a hope desert. There's an educational
Wow.
desert.
Oh,
There is a public health desert. There's a public safety desert.
man.
So all of these things just compound in underserved and under-resourced communities.
Yep.
And so by picking the name Oasis, by definition, means refuge, safe place, shelter. And like you said it's a bridge. We're in a building right now, and the building protects us against the ailments that are outside.
Mm.
And so when people come into Oasis, everybody goes through challenges. Everyone goes through hard times. And
Right.
sometimes they're magnified in underserved communities because of the trauma, the
Right.
abuse, and other things that can happen. And so we were intentional about picking that name. And like you said, it's a bridge. A bridge is meant to be walked on. A bridge is meant to be driven on. A bridge is
Mm.
meant to carry the load and the weight. And sometimes that gets hard. Sometimes that gets
Right.
overwhelming.
Right.
But we knew part of our call was to reach people, again, through food. Food is medicine.
Mm.
And there are people that are supporters that drive Bentleys, that may not ever come to Oasis because they live in a gated community on a different
Yep.
side of town, but they believe in the hope and humanity of people.
Mm.
They believe in fresh and healthy access. They believe in our model of being a refuge, safe place, shelter. And so
Yep.
we did this collaboration with foundations, with companies, working with the city,
Mm.
and so many strategic partners that said, hey, we believe in changing the narrative in North Tulsa, in changing the story, because many knew people were going to ask at the Centennial, what's changed in the last 100 years for Blacks in America, particularly in North Tulsa?
Mm.
We see food deserts across the country, and most of those are Black and brown and rural communities that need hope, that need a place where they can go and be seen, safe, and
Mm.
heard. And so it's more than just groceries for us. And it takes a special group of people that, of course, housing is important, and economic development, and
Right.
roads, and
That's right.
all of these things are important. But if there is not a place that people can go get what they need within their community,
That's right.
is that a complete community? And
Mm.
so that's what North Tulsa is doing such a great job of being a complete
Mm.
community, and so much great economic development and transformations happening. And we're glad to be a part of it.
Man, I see it as a cornerstone and a pillar to, I mean, everything else that's going to continue to happen. Having a thriving grocery store allows other thriving businesses to see the value and to start to invest and to start to put down roots in those communities. And so I see the power of it. I love how you talked about the diversity of people, their backgrounds. Some people might not come down to the grocery store, but they see the vision and they want to invest in it. And we talk about the power of purpose all the time, and how the power of purpose allows us to be a force for good. And so by them leveraging their influence and living out their purpose where they are, but investing in what you're doing, it allows you guys to have the store, and those who work at the store, they're living out their purpose. Obviously, man, you are a man on purpose. And how would you describe your personal purpose? I know you, even in our conversation, you've talked about, man, I just love serving people. How would you describe what you feel like you're called to, what you're called to contribute to the store, to the community, to the city from a purpose perspective?
That's a great question for something that I think about often, is the most important thing that we can hear, and we train our staff this way.
Hmm.
One of the most important things we can hear at the end of our lives is, well done, thou good and faithful servant.
That's
It
right.
doesn't matter what a person may believe. It doesn't matter to a degree how a person may live. If you can be an example,
That's right.
you know, light always shines,
Mm,
and when it's dark outside, you see where that
come
light
on.
is. Or
Come
when
on.
somebody has the light on in their apartment, you see it. So a light never speaks. A light just exists.
Mm,
And the light only works when it's connected to the source.
come
And so for us, we just try to be a light in our arena,
on.
and show people what it means to be a light in spite of what you may believe, in spite of what you're going through.
Mm,
Your present is not your permanent.
right.
And so someone that looks like them owning a business, I didn't see growing up a lot of people that looked like me
Yep.
that owned businesses outside of pastors or ball players that we saw on TV. There wasn't
Yep.
representation of legacy and
Mm,
business ownership and training and equipping people outside of the church. And so part of my purpose, man, I believe is to be a light across many different sectors.
that's right.
I've got a lot of things in my head and my heart, and Oasis is not about a destination. Oasis is
That's
about a
right.
mindset
Mm,
and teaching people to see beyond where they are. I didn't have anybody in my family that owned a business. And
come on.
so now, how can I set that model up for my children and for that to be something that continues? Because that's a part of building that generational
Mm,
wealth that
come on.
unfortunately doesn't exist in many of our Black and Brown communities.
That's right.
But changing the narrative is so key. So again, long answer. I feel part of my purpose and call, man, is to be the light
Mm,
and to show people that in spite of where you are, that your life matters.
come on, man. Come on. As you're talking, I'm thinking of one of my favorite quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. He says, "Only in the darkness can you see the stars." And it's when things are darkest, light shines brightest. And as you're talking and describing what you're about, I just I see you as someone who's being and building an oasis of hope for so many people around. I also think about, people come to Oasis, and again, I talk about the visuals. It looks amazing. The facility, brand new, food, aisle. I mean, it looks phenomenal, but that's just the structure. And I would say the game changer is the people that are leading, working, doing life in Oasis. And I've had the ability just to see you from a distance, be with your team, coach your team, talk about your culture and how, what you're trying to instill in your people as you think about being the ones who are actually embodying the light that you're talking about when people experience Oasis.
And even going back to the look and the feel, that was done with intentionality.
Yes.
We spent a lot of money on lights. So that way, when someone would come in,
Mm,
most underserved communities, family stores or corner stores or gas stations aren't well lit
that's
and,
true.
may have a smell to it, aren't really
Yes.
clean and fresh. And so
Yep.
even on the front end, that
Mm,
was something intentionally done by
I love that.
design. Hey, this is going to be a well lit, beautiful grocery store.
I love
And in
that.
the beginning, a lot of people even thought the name meant that we were like a Whole Foods, Fresh Market. Oh, I
Right.
can't afford the Fresh Market. No, 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 no. You can. This is not
Come on.
an exclusive club. This is an inclusive club.
Come
And
on.
so, and my counselor says I got ADHD, so I forgot what your question was.
No,
But
I know. I love that you started there because we're talking about the intention of not just the facility, even though I love that you started there, but the intention with your leaders and your team and the culture you're creating. And ultimately is, people see the lights and building, but then they interact. And that's
yeah,
where the I would say the ultimate light shines. Talk about how you're leading your people to create the culture that you have there. What are you doing to develop your people?
that is a hard task. And what I mean by that is it's the job of the leader and our leadership team to really understand the team.
Come on.
We both played sports. You know, I was the kind of player where the coach had to dog cuss me out sometimes for me to get it,
Yeah.
but other players, they just needed to be told one time. And,
Yeah.
those were the guys that probably had straight A's. That wasn't me.
Yep.
Understanding how to relate and connect and communicate
Mm.
is a key part of leadership,
Yep.
but also a key part of bringing together the team. We've got almost 50 people on staff, and so that represents 50 different filters,
Wow.
50 different households, 50 different experiences, 50
Yep.
different ages. And so it's not a one size fits all, but also being a refuge, safe place, shelter for our staff. So
Yeah.
that's why we do our daily team huddles, because it's a check-in. We've had, women that unfortunately were abused and got beat up by their boyfriend the night before. They came to work because it was an escape.
Wow.
We've had, some of our younger students, we have now 9 students that are in college,
Wow.
trade school, or the military that we have sponsored and sewed into. And so all ages, and
Yep.
for us, we know that's what heaven is going to look like. It's going to be a diverse place. And so our culture is really about community. And how do we create a community within a community?
Yep.
And even, for example, yesterday, one of our guys couldn't show up for work. He works in our meat department, and the meat department in underserved communities, it's a big deal.
Come on.
You better have the fresh meat
right.
and that meat, baby.
Especially leading up to the weekend.
Exactly. And, I just felt to call and reach out. And his whole face was swollen because he had an infection.
Wow.
And he didn't have, he's getting ready to have his 5th baby. And had just bought a car and are moving in this weekend to an apartment. And so he's on the phone basically saying, I don't want to lose my job, but I'm so sorry. I'm in so much pain. And so we went ahead and called the dentist last night, and even this morning he got the tooth taken care of, and we're not charging him for that.
Wow. Come on.
But it's a seed that we're putting into him, because we know that if we take care of the people will help bring the profit.
That's
And so
it.
you can't treat your people like animals or discourage them or not care about them and expect them to be safe in an environment or run the business like someone else would when I'm not there. And so we know and believe, if we believe and pour into people, that would be the difference maker to bring about a refuge, safe place, shelter for our staff, but also for the community.
Come on, man. Such a powerful, practical picture of what real leadership looks like, and servant leadership. Who are the leaders that you've learned from historically? Like, are there leaders you've learned from, books you've read? Where do you get most of your leadership philosophy kind of mentality from?
Yeah, a lot of it goes back to my godfather, Pastor Billy Joe, who since passed away. That was really just a pillar of living his life to serve.
Wow.
He would give the coat off of his back, the shoes off of his feet. And that really played a key part in my life, and is something that I continually think about and try to model, because he's done things all over the world. He was a global impactor.
Wow.
And obviously the John Maxwell's and the Bob Proctors and the Napoleon Hills, but someone that and Eric Thomas, of course, but Jim Rohns, all of those are people that I will listen to, different times throughout the month. But really, it was my mom and Pastor Billy Joe that helped lay a foundation of, this is how we treat people, in spite of how they may treat you,
Mm.
Sometimes you want a Christian cuss them out, and sometimes you don't want a
Yep.
Christian. You just want to cuss they tail out. But
That's right. That's
we're
right.
all humans. We all
Mm.
have emotions. But therapy too, counseling, I think
Yeah.
is something that has
Good.
got to be talked about more, particularly around men. I'm grateful for the
Mm.
coaches that I have in my life, the business coaches that I have in my life that are great mentors, but also
Mm.
counselors that I see multiple times a month,
Yep.
having that safe place to get everything out
Mm.
and to process the wars that happen on the inside.
It's good.
Uh, and owning a business and quote being a business owner and the leader, that doesn't come without a cost. That doesn't
Right.
come without a sacrifice,
It's good.
and it's often painful.
Mm.
Um, or the waking up in the middle of the night thinking about how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. Oh, a payroll and different things, but
Oh.
being committed to the purpose,
Mm.
and knowing that the purpose is much bigger than I, is really what our heart's cry is about and what
Wow.
keeps.
Come on, man. We could spend a whole podcast just talking leadership because I know you've got so much in you. I'd love to know when you talked about your team, you talked about team huddles and just practically caring for team members. Are there other things you do from a culture perspective that, really help you invest in your team members, that help you develop them? If you got your daily team huddles, are there other things you do, books you have them read? Do you guys have values that you talk about, that you put on the wall? What are some of those other practical things that you really do to help your team embody this Oasis culture?
In our team huddles, we try to always embody our core values. So our core values
Okay.
are Oasis cares, and those mean different things.
Yep.
Um, but we also try to have a daily lesson. What I mean by that is
Yep.
we talk to people about conflict.
Mm.
And we define conflict as an opportunity to strengthen a relationship.
Mm.
Most of the times we run from conflict or we avoid it. And
Yep.
when you're working in an environment, whether you're full-time or part-time,
Mm.
and you have a small team and there's the morning crew, the mid crew, and the evening crew,
Right.
that conflict or those vibes can go and spread throughout the organization. And
Mm.
so we try to teach, hey, frustration ends where communication begins.
Wow.
And we try to always have a daily, I guess, communication vitamin, trying to
Yep.
teach people, hey, this is how you can be a better person.
Mm.
This is how you can be a better employee, a better
Yep.
mom. And, even a lot of our kids that are in the military and army say, AJ, I remembered that one thing that you said. And those are the things that
Come on.
matter.
Mm.
When the staff members say, hey, I would normally yell at my kids, but I
Wow.
took time to ask questions, seeking to understand before
Yep.
seeking to be understood.
Wow.
And so we on a daily basis try to culturally as an organization add value,
Mm.
but also in life. How does this equate to your life where you can be a
Wow.
better person, a better mom, dad, son, whatever it is? Because a better you is a better us.
That's
A
right.
broken you can lead to a broken us.
Wow.
And that's the exchange that comes out of sacrifice of
Mm.
daily checking in with the staff. Hey, how are you?
Mm.
Well, how can I serve you? We teach our staff to say, how can I serve you? Not how can I help you?
Yes.
And service goes both ways.
Come on.
Uh, what do you need? What are you going through? And that doesn't mean we can meet all of their needs, but if we take the time to show them that we care,
Yep.
they may, and we've seen this in our staff, people aren't late all the time.
Mm.
People aren't trying to always steal.
Yep.
They would say, hey, I don't have any food. Can we help? Man, thank you. Yes, we can help.
Yep.
You create that culture of caring, it changes the atmosphere. Now, you
Mm.
do have to correct, you do have to also do
Yep.
those things. But man, if we have an environment that people feel safe
Yep.
in bringing up conflict, or safe where they can bring their need, or safe where they can say, I need to talk to someone and cry because I'm going through this, that
Right.
changed the whole organization.
Mm.
And then customers feel that, and we get it often. People walk in and say, man, this environment, something's different. Well, what they
Yes.
don't know is someone's walked the aisle at 6 a.m. praying. You
Right.
know, someone's walked the aisle late at night
That's right.
praying. Because we want people to be seen, safe, and heard when they come into
Yeah.
it.
Come on, man. I mean, I love that you do that every single day. I think about as leaders, one of our jobs is to be the chief reminding officers. It's about constantly reminding and casting vision and talking about our values. And honestly, like we have our weekly team meetings. I was telling you, we do what's called tip time before events. And those are primarily the times we're doing what you're talking about. But what successful college basketball team practices once a week? or a couple of times a week? It takes that daily consistent practice and coaching and connection to really help create the type of culture that we're talking about. And I know, for us, people will come to some of our events and activities. They'll say, man, you guys are so passionate. You're so encouraging. You're so energetic. And I have to remind people sometimes, or I don't tell them, but we coach that all the time. We talk about that all the time. We try to be intentional with how we're living and how we're acting and how we're treating people. And so I don't, to the degree that you feel comfortable, the last thing I would love for us to do is I'd love a window into what that team time looks like. And I've gotten a little window in following you on Instagram. And so I'd encourage anybody who's listening, check out my man AJ Aaron Johnson on Instagram. But let's say I was on your team and I'm coming to this huddle for the day, and you can do a very shortened version. But and everybody else who's listening is on your team too. And we applied and we got the job at Oasis, and we are here, first team huddle that we've been a part of. Man, like I want to have an experience like I'm walking in and I'm a part of that huddle. And so
Okay,
again,
well, we're gonna do this live. So we
come
have our
on.
team. So everybody lift their left hand up. Come on, lift your hand,
I
left
got
hand,
my
lift
left
your
hand
right
up.
hand
Let's go.
and let's go. And you got to follow the beat. You got to follow that beat. Clap it up, clap it up. And then I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3. You're gonna say Oasis. 1, 2, 3, baby.
Oasis.
Oasis. Okay, so for us today in our team huddle, the quote for today is the same water it takes to harden an egg is the same boiling water it takes to soften a potato.
Wow.
Your environment matters. Your mindset matters. So everybody close your eyes for a second. We tell our staff, hey, close your eyes for a second and just take a deep breath and see your life, get an image in your mind of the life you want to live, the life that you desire, not the life that you currently are, whether it's better health, whether it is your degrees, whether it's your certifications, a better car, whatever it is, your environment matters. And we tell our staff, hey, open up your eyes. You cannot be what you do not see. And so getting an image every day in your mind of what you feel on the inside. You want to be an artist. You want to be an athlete. You want to be a student. You want to own your own company. You've got to first get the image in your mind because things are created twice. First in the mind and then in reality. The chairs that we are sitting in weren't just created. Someone had to design that chair and then take it to an architect that then they had to communicate, this is what I see in my mind. And then the architect or the designer would draw it up. So we encourage our team, get the image in your mind. And being in the right environment will help to cultivate or destroy the image that you have in your mind.
Come on.
And so on a daily basis, we know Oasis means refuge, safe place, shelter, where we want people to be seen, safe, and heard. So today in your department, today in your role, today in your life, make people be seen, make people feel safe, greet people when they come in, but know that your life is called to do bigger things. And even if you're here for a season or you're here, for the long haul, we want you to leave this place and feel like, man, I'm a better Josh. Man, I'm a better son. I'm a better father. I'm a better husband. I'm a better person. I'm a better leader. And so today, go out and let's be great in our field, in our environment, and let's make the world a better place today. All hands in. Oasis on three, baby. 1, 2, 3. Oasis!
Let's go. Come on, man. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Game time. Game time.
Man, I absolutely love that. Thanks for just sharing that, taking us through. I know it's high energy. How long typically does that take, that huddle time together? How long does that typically take?
You know, that's typically less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
And sometimes we'll do a team check-in. Hey, how are things? Hey, we give a shout out. Hey, we heard that Colton just got a car. Let's give snaps to Colton. And everybody's like, yeah, we got a car.
Yes.
Or Courtney had her baby. So we'll celebrate that. But often, sometimes there will be, you know, individuals that say, hey, my daughter's sick in the hospital. Can you say a prayer for us? Or, hey, I don't have lunch today. And so the team will say, hey, I'll buy you some lunch. Or someone say, I'll buy the drink. Someone say, I'll buy the sandwich. And someone say, I'll buy the chips. And all of a sudden, we fostered a community within a community. And it's not just about the leader.
That's right.
It's about others stepping up to use their gifts. Whatever it is. Hey, I can watch your kids tonight. Okay. Wow. Look at that. And so that's why we cultivate the convening, because it's a place where people are seen, safe, and heard.
Wow. Come on, man. Come on, man. My brother, I for real could keep asking questions, keep talking. And I know there will be more in the future. I can't wait to get you to Omaha for some of our leadership lunches, leadership conference, just to have you, man, not just share what you know, but to really impart who you are on us as leaders here. And I can't wait to have an Oasis in Omaha. We're going to make it happen. We're going to see it. I can't wait to shop there. And so thank you, bro. Hey, anybody who's listening, who wants to stay connected with you, learn more, what's the best way to kind of keep up with what you're doing?
Man, I believe in the power of partnership, and your dream will only go as far as your team. And so as we're on this podcast today, I would first say, join and follow the Abide Omaha Network. Leave them a 5-star Google review. Use your time, treasures, and resources to be a part of what's happening with Josh and his team. And then secondly, you know, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, Oasis Fresh Market. Leave us a 5-star Google review.
Come on.
Google reviews matter.
Wow.
And I didn't know that.
Wow.
Google reviews make a difference. So if you're listening, go leave a 5-star Google review and Oasis a 5-star Google review.
Come on.
And just, you know, stay connected with us. We've got a nonprofit as well that we're doing the financial literacy and the health clinics and different things to provide those wraparound services. So join the cause. And let's make the world a better place, particularly in underserved communities.
Well, I know this. I'm going to give a Google review, a 5-star Google review, and anything else. I believe in you as a leader. I believe in what you guys are doing, and excited to continue to learn from you. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today, for sharing your story. So many things that we can walk away with. I am excited for the next one. Appreciate you, bro.
Man, thanks so much. Let's change the world, baby.
Come on. Well, hey, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. I already know you are inspired, you're encouraged, you're ready to tap in, hopefully to what AJ's doing, but also tap into your purpose. Your purpose has the power to bring change to the world. And ultimately, my encouragement is find a way to leverage the influence God's given you to impact the world around you, regardless of what organization it's through. You have something to offer and give, and the world needs it. Be light wherever you are. When things are darkest, light shines brightest. Look forward to being with you again in the next episode. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't listened to previous episodes, go back, check them out. Every single one, there are powerful things that are shared. Can't wait. Game Changer Purpose Podcast. We'll see you next time.